At 71, Catherine Bach, the woman who brought the iconic Daisy Duke to life on the Dukes of Hazzard, is finally pulling back the curtain on what life was really like behind the camera. While the show dazzled fans with its action-packed adventures and southern charm, not everything was as seamless as it seemed on screen. Bach now reveals the hidden challenges she faced, both from the pressures of her role and the dynamic of working alongside her co-stars, Tom Wopat and John Schneider. What truly happened on the set of this beloved series? While Daisy Duke became an enduring pop culture icon, Catherine Bach's experience playing the character was far more complex. Behind the glamorous image of short shorts and effortless charm, Bach had to navigate intense expectations both on set and in the public eye. Her role was heavily marketed, with Daisy quickly becoming one of the faces of the Dukes of Hazzard. However, this level of attention often came with added scrutiny. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Bach admitted, "There were times when I felt like I wasn't allowed to have a bad day. Everything had to be perfect, not just the work, but how I looked, how I acted. The pressure was constant." The demands of maintaining the Daisy Duke image weren't just limited to tight filming schedules or fashion expectations, they also came with emotional challenges. Bach was reportedly one of the few women on set in a male-dominated cast and crew, which could create a sense of isolation. In a 2010 documentary about the show, she revealed that while she often felt supported, there were moments where she struggled to assert herself creatively. Additionally, working alongside co-stars Tom Wopat and John Schneider wasn't always smooth sailing. Both actors had strong personalities, and while their on-screen chemistry as a trio appeared effortless, backstage disagreements occasionally bubbled to the surface. In the same documentary, Bach reflected that we all approached the work differently, and that could lead to tension. But at the core, we respected each other, even if it didn't always show. These challenges only added to the weight she carried as a prominent figure on the show, but Bach's resilience and professionalism ensured that Daisy Duke remained one of the most memorable characters in television history. Although the Dukes of Hazzard projected camaraderie and teamwork on screen, tensions behind the scenes inevitably arose as the show gained more popularity. Catherine Bach, Tom Wopat, and John Schneider, each with distinct personalities, sometimes clashed over creative decisions and differences in work habits. With all three actors playing pivotal roles in the show, maintaining a balance of egos wasn't always easy. According to an interview with Catherine Bach for The Hollywood Reporter, she admitted, "We were like siblings. You love each other, but you're also going to butt heads occasionally. The pressure we were under didn't help." This sibling-like dynamic could lead to disagreements, often fueled by long hours on set and the heightened stakes of working on one of the most watched shows of its time. One of the major points of contention involved the distribution of focus across the three characters. As Daisy Duke's popularity soared, there were times when attention shifted heavily toward her character's public image. This created friction, as Tom Wopat and John Schneider also faced concerns during negotiations about their own roles being overshadowed, a situation that led to their infamous walkout during season 5 when they requested fairer pay. Even still, the cast managed to maintain enough cohesion to create the chemistry that fans adored. Bach said in the same interview, "In the end, we all wanted the show to succeed, and that's what brought us back together every time." However, she acknowledged that filming days could be unpredictable due to the varied dynamics between the cast members. The challenges of working with strong personalities, combined with the immense pressure of keeping the show consistently successful, created a sometimes tense, but ultimately functional working environment. These tensions may have occasionally disrupted the atmosphere on set, but they also reflected the high stakes and passion invested in keeping the Dukes of Hazzard a cultural phenomenon. While Catherine Bach became a household name thanks to her portrayal of Daisy Duke, the rapid rise to fame also came with challenges beyond the set. As her character's image became a marketing goldmine, Bach found herself under constant public and industry pressure to maintain the persona of the carefree, flirtatious Daisy. However, the reality behind this public image was far more complicated. One aspect Catherine has discussed in interviews, such as a 2002 feature with CBS News, was how little control she sometimes felt over her own representation. The Daisy Duke shorts weren't something I even thought about, she clarified. I just brought in something I thought my character would wear, and suddenly it became this massive thing. But it also became a kind of trap, like I couldn't be seen outside of that context. This overemphasis on her appearance left Bach grappling with whether her other qualities and talents as an actress were being recognized. Moreover, as the show's marketing often focused more on her looks than the depth of her role, it heightened the struggle to find a balance between professional fulfillment and public expectation. Outside of the on-screen dynamics, Catherine also revealed in a 2015 interview with Closer Weekly that fame sometimes isolated her from her peers and real life. Everyone thinks you're living this glamorous life, but it could be very lonely. You spend so much time being Daisy Duke that people forget there's a real person underneath. This tension reflected the broader challenges for women in Hollywood during that era, where beauty was often valued over skill, leaving actresses like Bach feeling that their capabilities weren't always acknowledged. Despite these challenges, Bach maintained her professionalism, continuing to bring charm and dimension to Daisy Duke even amid the limitations of the era's standards. Through perseverance and self-reflection, Bach learned to navigate the fine line between satisfying expectations and staying true to herself, lessons she continues to reflect on as she looks back at her career decades later. Now, looking back at her time on the Dukes of Hazzard, Catherine Bach sees the experience with clarity and a mix of gratitude and hard-earned perspective. While the show was a career-defining opportunity, it also highlighted the complexities of working in an environment that wasn't always designed for growth or collaboration. In reflecting on the dynamics with her co-stars and the pressures of playing a cultural icon, Bach understands how those earlier struggles shaped her. Time gives you perspective, she told Closer Weekly in 2015. At the time, it felt overwhelming, but now I see those challenges helped me become tougher. You learn to stand up for yourself and find your voice. Although the friction behind the scenes and challenges of fame were difficult, Bach acknowledges the impact the show had on its audience. The stories of camaraderie, family, and overcoming obstacles resonated with millions of fans, many of whom still remember those values today. In interviews, she has emphasized the show's far-reaching impact, saying the fan support has been one of the most rewarding aspects. Bach also highlighted the real friendships that outlasted the challenges of the workplace. Tensions may have bubbled up in the heat of production, but over the years, she and her co-stars found mutual respect, even as each moved on to new chapters in their lives. While she doesn't shy away from acknowledging the difficulties of her journey on and off the set, Catherine Bach's reflections show a woman who has learned from her experiences but hasn't let them define her. As she said in her interview with CBS News, "At the end of the day, it's about more than fame or image. It's about living with integrity and doing the best you can." As Bach continues to engage with the show's loyal fan base decades later, she remains a testament to overcoming challenges and embracing the lessons they bring, even when they are tied to one of TV's most iconic roles,